It makes a lot of sense for people to be obese. The majority,
They'll be saying,
listen, it
like,
sounds crazy.
Mike Rashid ain't against nothing. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
no. I'm against certain things,
Yeah.
but I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
So is that
right?
empathy that you employ to get it?
It's not empathy. I just
Yeah.
understand, and
Okay.
I get it. "19 Keys."
Yes, sir.
My brother, good to see
Blessed
you,
to
my
be
man.
here again, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What does 19 Keys mean?
That's always the question I get. 19 Keys started from a quote by Master Fard Muhammad. And Master Fard Muhammad at the time, the reported quote was that there's 17 million original people and there's 2 million Indians. And he said that represents the 19 million rusty locks. And that rusty locks sort of represents like that pineal gland, or it also represents ignorance. You understand me? And those 19 million well-oiled keys is that knowledge of self, being able to enlighten the people so they can never be oppressed again. And you know, those keys can function as a multitude of different things, however you get to that point in position. But then also that number 19 represents not just a finite number of 19 million people, but that 1 through 9, representing all truth, right? Because the number 19 is a number that represents completion, right? And those keys that represent the truth that unlocks that mind. So the way I see the number 19 is all truth, universal knowledge.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yes, sir.
I knew that. I wanted my people to really understand
Yes,
that. You know, because we have you on the math. You know what I mean? Have been for a long time.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's funny because you go through all these different chambers of life, different groups of friends, whatever, move in different places, and it seems like places that I've been, the culture's been devoid of supreme mathematics.
That's true.
You know what I mean? 120 is the whole 9. So it's refreshing to run into cats that's on that's plugged into that wisdom. But yeah, so all right, you are very active online. You have a big following. You really captivate people by your words. You speak with a lot of wisdom and intellect. What is your mission? What are you about? What are you out here doing?
You know, recently I was talking with my brother, Chris Cole, and he said, man, you know, you the greatest thought leader in the world, right? Anytime somebody give you something in the world, they give you a huge charge and you got to take a humble bow, right? Then I had to go look up what really is a thought leader and who are considered to be the greatest thought leaders in the world. And you know, it's a list of, it's nobody black on that list whatsoever. And the way that they actually do the metrics and the way that they measure the impact, right? And then I could qualify it to say, based on impact, right, of our generation, I can say either I am top 5 or I am the one, right? And the reason I say that is because of what my mission statement is. And it literally is to change the minds of our culture and the diaspora around the world. And I've been doing that effectively since I started. And the mission that we have right now is very concise. If I want to look at something direct as a target, and this is 2053 wealth plan, right? Targeting what they said, and they say in 2073 that the brown community will have 0% wealth, and by 2053 the black community will have 0% wealth. So what is our 2053 wealth plan is what we came together to make sure that the black community has the education on how to build wealth and the skill sets on how to immediately go buy those assets right now.
Right.
And so over the years, I've been partnering up and I've been creating these mastermind groups and organizations such as the Shifters, co-founded the Power Circle, and now the Black World Order, which is fast-pacedly growing to be one of the biggest wealth education platforms in the world. And so right now the mission is to be able to produce the mindset that builds wealth and the skill sets that allow us to be able to outlast these technological disruptions that happen in the world.
What is that? What do you mean, technological disruptions?
So, I mean, we can look at what happened over the last 365 days with the whole pandemic, you understand me, and COVID-19 and things of that nature. Technology fast-paced because the world had to compensate for everything needing to go digital because you couldn't be in a physical space. You have what they call spatial reality come in, which is a mix of virtual reality and augmented reality, which is going to be heavily in the space that everybody needs to know about. I taught about mobilization, automation, digitization, right? And what I call the new America. And then on top of that, that comes with stress, anxiety, and depression, right? And even increased suicide because the utility of these technologies take away our human abilities, take away our emotional intelligence. So it's like artificial intelligence versus emotional intelligence. You have social media that's such a disruptive platform.
I hate to cut you off, but just want to interject on something. Do you think that artificial intelligence is supposed to replace human intelligence?
No, I think that it complements human intelligence. The only thing is, it's a tool, right? And it's an extension of our mind, which is another tool that we utilize. The thing that happens is this: you have what they call tech bias. Tech bias is that the tech will be biased based on who actually created the programming of the tech, the firmware. So if we don't create any of the artificial intelligence, all it does is it replace our oppressor. It takes their mind and it systemizes it so they can control our world. So what we need to look at more so is how do we make sure that we are the creators of these industries and they are within our areas of expertise.
Right. We have to be present. We have to show up and play, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of spaces. I've become cool over the last year or so with a few scientists and physicists and things of that nature. And these are white gentlemen, and even them, everybody's different. But my guys they say they yearn for Black brilliance in STEM, right? And we've been talking about working on some programs to try to get kids involved in STEM, even in competition.
We got to make
whatever,
it STEAM though.
Make it STEAM?
STEAM is what Marcus Garvey actually started the STEM of what it is today, which it stems from STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. The arts is even more important than any other time because the tools, in order to be able to use them, you got to have a great creativity and imagination.
Right.
And without the development of that particular area, they just gonna be workers for the creators.
I think we got that though. We are prolific with art. I mean, in this country, we have been since we've been free, right? So, but the technical side, the math, the science, engineering, we're absent for the most part.
So when I think about art, it's twofold, like NFTs right now, right? What happens in the world that we're doing right now is everybody get into this technical thinking where you're told what to do, right? And you become good at technical analysis and, technical thinking, but you're not good at creative thinking. How are you going to do it? How are you going to utilize it the best way? And under that, arts is creative thinking. So what you would take an artist that's good at producing art, but he's not good at his creative marketing on how he get people to perceive the art and buy into it. So we have all of the tools the same way we got a phone. And if you don't know the art of marketing, the art of branding, and the art of these things and the creative utility of it, then you still gonna be working for the creatives. And I say this is my formula, is that at one point in time, it was about the hard worker, right? Because men had to utilize their physical bodies to get work done, and horses and things of that nature. Then steam engines came along, and then a multitude of industrial revolutions. And then you got the smarts, right? Technology. So now the smart people created technology, and you trying to figure out, okay, what's my smart use of time rather than my physical use of time to be more effective? And now we at a new age, and that's the creative worker, because the creatives is running the world right now. You understand me? Like, if you look even on the stock, why is it that Elon Musk and Tesla have these huge evaluations in these $1 trillion companies? It's because they literally are influencers for their brand. They rock stars for their brand. Not that they just have the most valuable companies in the world.
For sure.
You understand me? So it's the creatives that run the world right now. People are creative. $70 million for the NFT. That just took creativity.
I'm with you on that. We'd be hard pressed to say that we don't have a spark of creative genius and brilliance, right? But we are absent with anything technical. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be present there. Just like I
want to challenge you on that, because think about how many of us go to college. We go to college and we get the technical. It's a lot of mathematicians and engineers and things of that nature within our culture, but they work for somebody else, right? They don't work for themselves because they don't know how to apply their knowledge for themselves, to do for self. So they don't have the creative thinking to go out there and be like, all right, this is how I'm going to build and produce the solutions. All of our mathematicians work for very creative thinkers. So what we need to do is be able to marry both agencies. Like, how are you going to utilize the things that you actually learned?
Well, most people, you gotta see, most people are gonna be workers. That's just the law of averages, right?
Yeah.
And however, if we have more people, in academia, in science, in math, in engineering, we have a higher chance of more of us being bosses in those spaces. Tech bosses. Matter of fact, I'm friends with a few black tech giants. You know what I mean? Good friends of mine. You know, and like the group that I went to Haiti with, a couple of them tech giants. You know what I mean? So, and they talk about it too. They say it's only us.
Right.
It's not many. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm around.
But to that point though, how many of them have created programs in the hood to where they found ways to utilize their resources to be able to produce solutions?
That's the thing, they have. So one of my guys, shout out to Jerry, he started a company called Lynn Street, and it's just for that.
It's called Lynn Street?
Lynn Street, and they're giving resources and funds to young black entrepreneurs to get started. You know what I'm saying? So these people, it's just, we need more of it. That's what it is.
No, we definitely need more, and I think we got to get more innovative as well. Like, and I say that because with the resources that we have, our excuses have went down to zero, right? And it's just the way we utilize our resources. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, we need to, black people, all poor people need to divorce themselves from voting, politics.
They talking about language.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that so much energy is spent on, like this whole last election cycle, I felt like the dam was breaking and I'm plugging up holes with my fingers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking to people, I'm like, look, stop, calm down. That doesn't affect you. You know what I'm saying? We put so much energy and so much time into these politicians, them not caring is an understatement. You know what I mean? And nonetheless, the federal government have very little power, no impact on our lives in a big scheme of things. There are certain things that are problematic depending on what side is in, but it doesn't dominate our lives by any means. When Biden took over, did anything change in your life? Nothing changed in most people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Unless they worked in the White House. You know,
right.
And that's
the same plan.
Exactly.
Just a different man.
We need to, like you said, we do have resources, and this country, there's a lot of resources. It may not be out in the open, but it's there. And I try to tell people all the time, look, go do a little bit of research. Go Google a grant for XYZ. Use it, because they're using it. Everybody else is using it. We got to use it. And one thing about us being here, there's nothing that we can't do.
Facts.
There's nothing we can't do. Are there problems? Absolutely. And they're being worked on. We're working on it, right? Things are getting better. But right now, for the now, you know, life is what you make it, and it can be amazing. You know what I'm saying? Or we can sit back and complain. You know what I mean?
But you're right though. We both right in that space. Like, number one, and it's two ways. I guess you got to look at it from where things are now and where things really will be in the next 50 years, right? And the mindset and the tools that are necessary right now and essential right now are going to be completely different than the ones that the generation of 50 years
100%.
would need, right?
Just like you said, pre-industrial revolution, it was brute.
Right.
Then it went to smarts.
Yeah.
Now it's creativity. And then what's in 50?
Well, shit. It's just pure magic. Listen, we're gonna be linked up to goddamn neural links and living in a complete digital world. So whoever got the most powerful imagination, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's gonna win.
See, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was battling with people when I did a podcast and I talked about Neuralink, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm excited about it. Oh, that's the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
That's
everything the mark of the beast.
The government got control of you. I'm like, look, calm down. I don't believe in witchcraft, so the mark of the beast, whatever. It's not a government thing. This is a private company, right? And it's been around. This guy just bought the company and he's making it better. People are so resistant to technology, and it's odd because that phone that they're angry and texting me on or messaging me on is the same. It's an antiquated technology to Neuralink. It's a predecessor. You know what I mean? So
and I love technology.
Yeah, we have to use it as a tool. You know what I'm saying? It's not a human. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have intentions.
Yeah.
It's just a tool. Look, plenty of people make millions of dollars with these phones. Some sit on porn all day or troll people all day. You know what I'm saying? We all have, just like Neuralink, we'll all have access to the same tools, but it's how you use it.
Right. I think the only thing that I will validate some of their argument is the owners of the platform and the tools themselves. Right? Like a lot of times we slave in spaces and we learn how to be the best slaves in those spaces rather than become the masters of them. Because the master always going to benefit more in that space, the one who actually rules it.
Of course.
Because what happens is it says that, okay, if this was insidious, then we're all vulnerable, right? And I think that's more what people get to is that we don't know the nature of the people that actually own it and what their agendas are for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And the only thing with technology, you got to couple that with great health, right? Because technology does have an effect on our physiological bodies. You understand me? Like our magnetic charge, our little swimmers, right? Our reproduction rates. So it's like when you get talking about that from a 50-year window or a 100-year window, you're talking about control of generations to come. So I think that it just requires consistent education, not fear mongering. You understand me? Like it's no point to fear. The fear comes from the ignorance.
Right.
So the more we educate ourselves, the more we empower ourselves, and then you realize this: if they did it, we can do it.
That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much like I'm working on something right now in Georgia. Excuse me, buying some property, and I'm trying to be off the grid when I want to be off the grid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the means to do it is there.
Facts.
Internet, you name it.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm working on. Once I'm dialed in with that, I'll be sharing that information with select people.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not for everybody.
No.
You know?
Everybody don't want it. They think they want it. They just want access to it.
Right. Or want to be in the know.
Yeah.
You know, but most people will never change whatever program that they're currently in. And I get it, you know, that's just how it is. It's interesting. We talk about supreme math, right?
Yeah.
Our breakdown, our 85, 10, and 5 is very similar to the Buddhist breakdown. They have the almost identical breakdown, right? I learned that in college and I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And the numbers, the big number is, they just don't get it yet. That's how they explain it, and they'll have to come back and do it again. The super small numbers, the ones that get it, move on. And then they call the bigger percentage, that's small, magicians. They call them magicians. And they describe it as like politicians or people who know what's up, but using it nefariously to control people. So that's a universal formula.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that's how the planet has always been. You got the ruled and you got the rulers. You understand me? And what I've learned is like you can't make somebody a boss. You can give them the opportunity to become a boss.
Right.
Right? Only those who naturally gravitate toward it based on their DNA, they makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They development
I don't even
go
think you
become
can give
that way.
them the opportunity. They got to go and create and be a boss.
But that's what I mean. Like the opportunity is like with family, right? You can have a business. You can try to provide an opportunity saying, well, these are the things that's available.
Right.
Right? Like even the education, the thing, you can pick it all up if you want to. But I'm not gonna make you into me.
Right.
Right? Like you can only develop into yourself of what you consider to be an equal level and equal equivalent.
Right.
But you can't say, hey, I want you to be at your highest potential. This is what I need you to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Because they not going to sustain that. They're only going to be mimicking what you told them to do and digress back to the level that they truly at.
Right.
So I learned to just provide the opportunity, which means like it's there. I'm not gonna block you from it and you have access to it.
Right.
If you decide to pick it up, take that mindset, learn, come under mentorship if that's what you need, but you gotta be aggressive about it. I'm not gonna be aggressive about your potential and you ain't aggressive about it, even if I see it.
Correct.
Because I got an issue with, it's a gift and a curse, seeing people potential, seeing like, damn, this person to be this.
Yeah.
But then at that same time, it's like your vision for somebody else is biased based on what you see for them if it ain't what they see for themselves.
Right. But that's so spot on. I got young cats that I help out all the time, right? Over the years, I developed some vision to know when people are gonna utilize the information or not.
Yeah.
And when I feel like they're not, I'm just like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it, bro. You figure it out, you know? But the ones that I choose to invest time in, they do. And it brings joy to me because it's just like you in my city. Hey, what's a good restaurant? And I recommend it. You go, you love it. You're like, bro, that was bomb.
Yeah.
It's a gratifying feeling. So that on a bigger level, when it comes to like, yo, this person trusted me with some life information, business information, whatever, and it worked out. You know what I mean? It feels good. So I have an affinity for helping people, sharing information, because I didn't have any of that.
Right.
And I know how, like, look, bro, you can shortcut this by doing this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to be the one to provide that. And maybe it's ego,
right.
but it's still helping this person.
A man wants to, like, I don't know, ego is one of those topics that everybody got
it's not bad. I don't look at it as bad. It's negative.
Like, ego helps us when we need that, like, especially for black men in America.
Mm-hmm.
The world ain't gonna never tell you how great you are.
100%.
Ever. They ain't gonna list out your accomplishments, give you the awards, and tell you what those metrics truly mean for an individual to accomplish what you have.
That's true.
So at a certain point in time, you're like, wait a minute. If everybody else has these systems to measure their greatness and accomplishment and I don't have it, your ego becomes that system for you. It becomes your award.
Right.
It becomes a lot of different things to be like, I'm gonna inspire myself based on my own accomplishments.
Correct.
And I don't need y'all because I've created this entity to do it for me.
Right.
Is it the most healthy? No. But we do it based on
it depends on how you
survival and
manage
effectiveness.
It's how you manage it, though.
Yeah, like,
because I don't think it has to be unhealthy, but it can.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
When it becomes your personality and like your character.
Yeah.
Like,
see how I see it, bro, is like, there's a lot of talk about ego dissolution, and some people,
the ego death.
Yeah, some people reach that through means like psychedelics, some meditation, whatever. However, their ego might have been a detriment to their relationships, job, whatever. So it's
but it
about
might have worked in another area.
Right. See, me, I see mine for what it is,
Yeah.
And it's very valuable to me.
Yeah.
I don't employ tactics of the ego or characteristics of ego in my personal life.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
It's only with work. It's only with me challenging myself, because I'm at war with myself a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to do better than what I've done, and also I challenge myself to be a better human than what I was and what I had been. So my jihad is here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my ability to check my ego, not even check it, but to constantly recognize and observe it comes through reflection.
Correct.
Right? I self-reflect a lot. Like anytime I get a moment, I'm self-reflecting to know whether from my own scale of right and wrong, do I consider this right? Right? Not like everybody's universal scale, but from my own principle base.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, what you expect out of others, is that what you producing at the same time? And in those situations, how come they didn't go the way you wanted them to? Was it ego that stopped you from the very goal that you wanted? So that's when it doesn't even serve you.
Right.
So that's where I think people really need to learn how to check themselves, is when it's not actually serving them.
Correct.
And they got to double down on their ego just to keep doing the same shit.
People need lessons in practicality and being rational.
Yeah.
Because that's what I see. I think life is easy. When you could be grounded and base yourself in rational thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never reject truth, empirical truth. And don't be married to your feelings and your beliefs and your emotions. I myself am a very emotional person. That's why I made this intellect over emotion.
Yeah.
But my emotion are used for certain things. It's never for decisions.
Right. Well, if you marry your emotions, then they rule you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure. And it's always bad.
Yeah.
Even in good situations, it's always bad. You're never presenting yourself in a rational way.
And it's never honest.
Right.
It's never completely
because emotions
honest.
go up and down.
Yeah.
You might feel like this one day, and then there's times that I'll book a trip on an emotion. Like, I feel like by the time it's time for that trip, I don't want to go. It's like, dang, I felt like that then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it was the feeling that you
exactly.
Like. That's how marketers get us. That's how the world get us. Human beings driven by feeling, not by
100%,
logic.
100%.
So that's why we always taught to rise above emotions into the thinking of a God. So you rise above the emotions into the intellect, right? It's not that you are a sociopath or you don't have emotions. It's saying rise above.
Right.
So that you can rule the emotions. And that's a different place where people live in. Some people are all in here.
Right.
Whatever they feel, it drives them.
That's it.
Some people learn to be here. They rule the emotions. They feel it, but they don't control them.
See, they gotta, when you have a certain level of vision and insight, self-reflection, like you said earlier, your emotions are guiding you in a sense of you feel everything, right? So your instincts are on point.
Yeah.
Some of your decisions just don't feel right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This looks too perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been there, bro. One of you know, I've been through a lot of things, but one of the things that I've been through was about 3 years ago, man. I was in business with a person I shouldn't have been in business with, and I knew that. You know what I'm saying? When I'm going over everything in my head, I'm like, I mean, you know, it was so perfect for me, right? And nothing in my life has ever come easy. You know what I'm saying? I had to work hard for everything, right? But this situation was mega easy. I'm like, I should have, you know what I'm saying? My vision wasn't super clear with my emotions, you know what I mean? And I thought I was making a rational decision because I thought it out. I didn't just move on it fast. I got counsel from people. And here's another thing, bro. Getting counsel from people, asking advice, it's not a thing. You are the best knower. That's a thing for a reason, bro, because nobody can ever articulate 100% honesty their position. You know what I'm saying?
And then you gotta be careful with confirmation bias.
Exactly.
Like we sometimes go, hope these people tell us what we want to hear.
Right.
You understand me? To confirm what we want to do already.
Right.
And it's very, very rare that somebody gives us such great advice that they change us in a completely different direction.
Correct.
From the way we wanted to attract the outcome we wanted.
Right.
So like you gotta have somebody, and that's the thing, you gotta be able to gauge whether you really got one of them wise persons in your life, completely devoid from your situation, don't personalize it, but they just come from a pure place of wisdom.
And they care about you.
Yeah, and they care.
Yeah, it's a thing, man. I got people around me that I know that I'll get some solid insight, you know what I mean? And that's a good place. At that time, the people I was asking wasn't those people. You know what I'm saying? I was asking people like other business people, you know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, I'm not a business guy. You know what I mean? I own businesses, I own successful businesses. We scale, we sell, we do all of that. But I'm a person, I'm just a human, right? I do business, right? Certain business people have no ethics, you know?
Facts.
And I learned that the hard way because it was somebody that's very successful that I really respect that was like, you should do it. Like, I'd do it, you know what I'm saying? And that gave me the confidence to do this. Make, you know, team up with this person.
Characters.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dangerous. You understand me? Especially being when you spiritual, you understand me, and like you move off values and principles and integrity, and you do anything against those, especially for $1, man, you go defeat yourself.
And here's the thing, Keys, the punishment is worse.
Way worse.
Because you know better.
Right.
You know, when they say
you moved against self. It's like taking a chess move and you knock down one of your own pieces.
Right. When you're asking someone, you think I should? You know you shouldn't.
Right.
You shouldn't. If you gotta ask, you already know you shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Right, so, because the God in you is the one like that's challenging you not to do it in the first place.
Exactly.
And you need somebody to help me silence that voice so I can do this thing that's against, you know what I mean, my moral system, my code, my God within. So that is dangerous.
Yeah.
And then another one is this, with men, right? And specifically, it's like dealing, when we talk about egos and men having experience in life. And most men, they think that their business experience qualifies them as man experience. And they think that qualifies them in like relationships and other things of that nature, and that ain't the reality.
It's not.
So like, many people be jealous, have enviousness, and don't know how to check it. A lot of it is like the little brother syndrome. You understand me? It's like, you get to where, you know, when you're a little brother and you don't have an older brother, you ain't got nobody to learn from, to go off their shit, somebody to check you on.
I think it's all good, bro. I think it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I think everything balances out, you know?
Yeah. I just think of like an iPhone, right? That I'm sure they probably got the next 5 models already done, and technology, they like, why would we put this out now when we can use this to make $1 trillion later?
I would do the same thing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, that like, when we think about how far we've advanced, our advancedness, we got to filter that based on capitalism. How much money can we make off these advancements before we roll them out?
I guess, let me rephrase it. Since that's the system that we live in, that I choose to live here, I will play that game too.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think that's hurting people.
How
you know what I mean?
That's how business is ran.
If it ain't hurting people, I'm with it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to do nothing. Money is not that. Listen, I'll walk away from anything. Money is not gonna put me in position to hurt somebody. I would never do that.
We probably got too much shit anyway, right? Like I think
we do.
The
That's
simpler things would be, the better we are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we create.
In what way though? In what sense?
Well, I mean, just about every sense. From a health standpoint, it's like think about how many sophisticated drugs that they have, but that's because we're creating more sophisticated diseases because we have more sophisticated polluted environments based on like technology and foods, chemicals, and all kind of shit going on.
I see what you're saying, but I have a different relationship with the pollution, with the waste from technology. I'm glad. I applaud it because it's a product, a byproduct of human ingenuity.
What about like soy and like GMOs?
Yeah,
right?
I'm very see. We do a lot of research, bro. So I dive in, especially common notions that's out there. I'm like, because like GMO, like what? Let me do my research. And there's nothing wrong with GMO. Matter of fact.
No, I'm gonna super challenge you on that one.
No, hold on. But here's the thing, though. You're gonna have to.
We're gonna take that clip.
You're gonna have to not eat most of the foods you eat because anything you think is natural, most of it is GMO.
Right, but that doesn't make GMOs okay.
That's
the paradigm we live in.
But do you know why though? A lot of these foods wouldn't be very palatable if it wasn't genetically modified for us. You know what I'm saying? We'd have to spend 10, 20 years in the Amazon to eat a normal banana. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't even stomach these foods.
So eating a normal banana and cultivating it for agriculture
None of us have ever did it.
to go around the world is different, right? Like, and we stand this from the standpoint of the human biology is only changing because of the food intake and we trying to survive. You understand me? Our body trying to keep up with all this shit we doing. Right? Like our bodies when the light bulb was created, our biological rhythms and our circadian rhythm went through a whole like, whoa, what the hell is going on?
I mean, even when we learned how to harness fire, it did the same thing.
But see, fire was natural in the sense that, you know, I mean, when you get to like ultraviolet radiation and what fire do when you're around it, it doesn't have the same effect as blue light on the brain.
But fire will burn you. And you can die, you know what I mean?
Right, but it don't change your biological rhythm. Like as far as your sleep cycles and things of that nature the same way.
This is what changed when, like, to date, fire was the biggest human technological revolution, right? Because what it did, it gave us longer days, right? It gave us the means to cook food so it could be more palatable. That's the first genetically modified.
And that was more for the rich too, though, at the time, because the average poor person living in a household ain't got an oil lamp that's burning all night.
But I'm talking about when human beings learn how to click these rocks together.
Right.
Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? We changed, right? We spent less time eating because the food is quicker to eat, more palatable, and it unlocked a lot of nutrients, right? Made our bodies change, our brains grow bigger, especially our frontal cerebral cortex. And also we had longer days. We did more shit, right? Our circadian rhythm changed back then. You know what I mean?
But not as drastic, nowhere near as drastic as where we at right now. Like,
everything changes.
Our bodies were able to adapt to that particular change, like immediately.
But it adapts now too. Here's the thing, bro.
But how do we consider that if every disease has went up? And I'm sure
that's human that gluttonous spirit in humans.
Right, and all of that comes from, like, all things are connected, right? So all of the advances all things, essentially, right?
Okay.
So there's an advancement of disease, there's advancement of our eating habits, there's advancement of irregularities within our body function.
Right.
So it's like every technology we get makes one shift and another shift.
Right.
And then we stop getting technologies for survival and we start doing it for capitalism. So now you got 100 shifts at once.
Let's not talk about survival. We've been past survival forever.
Well, yeah, I mean, not
homeless
everybody
people
on the earth.
Homeless people survive, you know what I mean?
Well, but yeah, so like, but when we got fire, that was like survival. That was like pure human essence.
But keep in mind, there was plenty of people that seen others using fire and were like, fuck them, and stand away or whatever, because you know why? Because fire was also used as a weapon, and
they didn't need it too.
They was using it. We needed it, bro, because we use it for, some people use it on each other, but we also use it to fight off predators, you know what I'm saying? Which was a huge plus, help keep us alive, right? Warmth, all of that, right? Here's the thing, bro. Technology, it's in humans' nature to look for more comfort in life. You know what I'm saying? Think about when we had no fire, we gotta find shelter, right? Because we could say, oh, that's not natural. We born out in the earth, just be out in the woods with everything else.
Well, we didn't die off because of it.
Huh?
I mean,
but a lot of species of humans did, because they
Right,
weren't as cunning as we were.
that
You know what I'm saying?
what it is. They wasn't made for that. The species of human beings that survive without fire for the amount of time that they survived for, they DNA, their body was structured for
See,
that act of survival.
True, but
And matter of
we're
fact-
speaking in hypotheticals.
Yeah, and it's super hypothetical.
We
We
had,
don't know about none of this.
but we got it. No, I'm saying,
But
but
let
we
me ask
did
you this
get it.
though, because this is
we
an
got it
interesting
early.
thought, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Will one consider really maybe the weaker the biological species to be the ones who go get the technologies and things of that nature because of their lesser chance of survival? You understand me? Like if I'm in the cold and I ain't tripping off nothing and my body don't feel like it's needed because I'm from that ilk of genes that, you know, is good in all weather, I'm not thinking about creating fire and putting all of that mental energy into finding a whole new element to use.
Correct.
The person who's colder, who needs that, no, they're going to more so mindset look for that innovation and that invention and start experimenting with ways to survive.
Right. Yeah, but I don't look at one as better than the other.
Right, but it just more so goes to, are we becoming stronger or are we becoming weaker and we finding ways to comfort our weaknesses?
True. However, this is where I'm at with the keys. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Right.
However, we have the means, like things that I do, the tactics that I employ in my life is to keep me strong, to keep me powerful, to keep me a very capable human, a human animal. You know what I'm saying? So training, and it ain't like I don't train to look good. I train to be strong, to be fast, to have endurance. You
Absolutely.
know? I eat once a day. That's what the ancestors did. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping. Huh?
Or possibly even less.
Right. I'm not tripping. Oh, 100% less. You know what I'm saying?
A lot,
they had to eat
lot
when
less.
they went and hunted. They was very physical when they were hungry.
Yeah.
It wasn't they full, like, let's go get food again.
And we
like,
much
nah.
heavier now than we ever was.
Yeah, because we got access to way more food and we eat a lot more, right? So here's the thing, like we have with information, we have the tactics to keep ourselves sharp. Bro, when I started back fighting in 2018, that was a tactic for me to not get soft. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, I got this big old house, I got money out.
Yeah.
I ain't got I don't have a formidable adversary. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's me.
Right.
Let me fight my lazy self.
You ain't got an enemy, you got to buy you one.
You got to create it, bro.
Yeah.
Because look, without enemies, without an adversary, you have no people who don't deal with stress. Like listen, like a lot of people are against medicine. I'm with it, right? Give people the relief they need. But here's the thing: there's people that use, anti-anxiety or whatever. They use things to fight off stress, right? Those people, those are the weak people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
I guess it's the dependency of it and the loss of your human ability to be able to relieve yourself of those things.
Right.
And once they're available, that part of your human side that has the ability to calm
deal
that
with that,
nerve,
yes.
to fix your body ailment,
it goes away,
you
it
lose
gets weak.
Because now
Exactly.
you have an outside dependency instead of
Right.
an interior one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, if you don't deal with stress, you can't deal with stress.
Yeah.
And stress is always gonna be there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where, I mean, look at obesity. 50% of America obese.
51.
51. I mean,
The
I'm sure that
majority.
number probably went up.
The majority.
From last year probably went up even more.
Facts. But see, here's the thing too. See, so bro, I look at everything like this, bro. I get it, right? So I'm very fascinated in evolutionary biology and the history of us evolving, right? And it just makes a lot of sense for people to be obese. The majority.
They'll be saying,
Listen, it sounds crazy.
Like Rashid ain't against nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No. I'm against certain things.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
So is that
right?
empathy that you employ to get it?
It's not empathy. I just understand. And
Okay.
I get it, right? So here's the thing. The majority of the human experience, it was a scarcity of food, right?
Yeah.
So this industrial.
Okay, hold on. When you say the majority of the human experience scarcity of food, what do you mean?
The majority that are physically anatomical human beings that've been on this planet, the majority of that, there was no stores. There was hunting and gathering. You know what I'm saying? The majority of the human experience. What we're used to is very brief. It's the end. It's the beginning. We're still in the beginning of this modern era. You know, it's just moving so fast.
But okay, because I want you to finish your point.
Okay.
But for the sake of the bill, when we talk about food and the way we think about it now, is like we need this very nutrient dense source of like physical foods to eat. But back in the day, sun being as rich as it was enough nutrients for your body. Because number one, you're not expending as much energy. You understand me? You might pick up some algae or some planta, and that'd be enough for a whole month. But that might have been so rich in nutrients and minerals that you didn't need anything else. And of course, as human beings become heavier and we want to travel longer distances, you have all of these different effects on why that is. And even in today's time, it's like we spend so much of our energy trying to survive on a day-to-day basis that we have to eat more food, which kills us even quicker. So it's like a conundrum that we dying to live.
So let me get to where you at, because I'm there, right?
Yeah.
But I understand. So here's the thing. The majority of the human existence, it wasn't stores, it wasn't Uber Eats, it wasn't
that's 10 years.
This huge access. And look how fast this happened.
Yeah.
Now Uber Eats is less than 10 years. Uber ain't even 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So all of this stuff happened fast. So it seemed like it's always been like this. It wasn't, right?
Right.
So like even like now, they say men from the 70s, 60s had way higher level testosterone levels than men now.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
Our testosterone levels are plummeted, right? Because we lazy. We got the smartphones and watch TV and play video games.
Right.
However, knowing that, there's adjustments. Now let me get to that. So the majority of our time on this planet, it was hard to eat.
Yeah.
Right? You wasn't getting fat. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
You had to go catch something, bring it back, you know what I'm saying? Ration it until it's time to go hunt again, right? So this short period of time that we have all of this access to food, our bodies is not, we have, we get these dopamine dumps and we get these pleasure sensors when we eat because our body's like, yo, you need that again. So you feel good, right? So that hasn't evolved out. It's too fresh, it's too new. So people are getting those, they eat and
but it hasn't evolved more.
Nah, I don't think so.
Artificial sugars, like
that stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff is addicting. You know
like
what I'm
a
saying?
Snickers
It
back
tastes,
in the 1920s.
It tastes amazing. It tastes
Coke,
good.
Coca-Cola with Coke in it and sugar.
Cocaine.
Man. Boy, I'm talking about. They had them people on a high they ain't
but
know
look,
nothing about.
even that, bro. Like I don't like the narrative on cocaine. I've never done cocaine in my life. Probably never will. But that was used for something. Probably. Yeah, probably.
Y'all leave that room.
That was used for something very specific back then. You know what I'm saying? And it's from the earth, right? Like everything else. But anyway, here's the thing. People overeat because it's there. You know what I'm saying? They're not even thinking about it. People eating, they're not hungry. You ain't hungry. Like I fast all the time, bro. And I be telling people, I'm hungry. Like you ain't hungry.
Right. Like I gotta remind myself when to eat.
Exactly. So if you're not tapped into like, yo, I'm overdoing it. Like this is not necessary. People think 3 meals a day is like the way.
Yeah,
that's not the way.
crazy.
It's silly, right? When people have information and understanding on how we got to that point, they'll pull back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's a lot of people. I'm not me, you. We're not unique. Mm-hmm. You know, we both read How to Eat to Live. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My father eats once a day. He always has. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that do what we do. But most people don't. Most people overeat because it tastes good and it's there.
And it's a coping mechanism.
Correct.
And that's how people self-medicate a lot of times.
That's the most dangerous drug.
Food. It really is.
So people getting obese, it makes sense because naturally it makes sense for you to go for the fatty filling stuff.
Right.
Because that's what we had to do back then to satiate us.
And it's different, right? In America, we have over portions, right?
Yeah.
And then throughout time, you got like, in different lands, being pale represented you ain't had to work. So that was a social thing, right? And being bigger represents you had money. So people would try to eat to get bigger so that they'd look wealthy. Yeah. You understand me? And like all of these things translated over time, and especially in America, we're a melting pot of influences.
Right.
And we don't even know where those influences come from sometimes.
Yeah.
And even now in the political climate, it's like, it's PC to not say the word fat. Right? It's PC to not talk about obesity, fat shaming.
Yeah.
So when you start speaking upon these things as even helping somebody with their own condition, you got somebody to say, no, love your weight. And this person is depressed because they want to stop overeating.
They don't want to be,
so that they can be light and have a longer chance of living.
I think about a week or two ago, we did a video talking about, I said, look, I'm not applauding you for being obese and losing weight. You just being normal.
Yeah.
You should be normal.
Yeah.
You should lose weight if you're obese, but you don't get an applaud for that. Just like you don't get an applaud from me for being sober X amount of years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that you are now.
Right. I'm glad you got control over yourself.
But that's not special. Like,
yeah.
I've never been obese. Like I don't get nothing for that,
Yeah,
and I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. This is
That's
normal.
a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that, bro. I'm not with
You
that.
don't get awards for being natural, essentially.
I'm not into the political correct stuff.
Yeah.
Even with racial terms, I don't care. That doesn't bother me. And our people need to really divorce these words. Don't let it hurt your feelings, because it's a word.
They gonna tell you to make space, man. You go on Clubhouse and they gonna say, Mike, you need to make space for this.
Listen,
you
Clubhouse is so interesting, bro, because I am a skeptic by nature.
Yeah.
And when people are saying things that just seem like there's no basis, I ask questions.
Right.
And I'm only questioning things that's like, bro, can you substantiate that? Well, and then everybody else started trying to like explain for them. I'm like, let him.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Let him.
Remember, you said the thing about masculinity decreasing over time. So masculinity is now this thing to where people villainize. You know what I mean? Because it's not the standard anymore, right? To be masculine, testosterone production being low, it changes the characteristics of men's behavior. So to see a man act within a standard of being a naturalized man, now it's like, who is this person that just came in the room? Wait a minute, he got the audacity to ask a question like a man, to talk like a man.
It's funny, man. It's like we recorded one day. We was recording some other stuff, and bro was just speaking very articulate, very confident. And bro, I'm not even gonna get into what he was saying. It was so silly. But people were like, I'm like, I said, hey bro, just, I caught the tail end of that. Can you tell me about this? And he couldn't, like, well, how did you get, you know what I'm saying? And he talks around it. And I'm like coming right back to it. And everybody's trying to defend him. I'm like, and it got to where the people that was trying to defend him, they were like, well, maybe you should just ask your question more direct. Okay, don't do that. So bam, still nothing, to where they were like, well, he did ask you this and you said that. Right. And it was like I'm in a lot of more times than often that I'm in these rooms, and I love intellectual discourse. I'm here for that, or just to listen and learn something. Cause I learn a lot from Clubhouse, but oftentimes I'm asking questions and it gets awkward because people are so used to running bullshit over on people. And nobody questions anything. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not. Because
people present themselves and it's guarded by all these emotions and like, oh, feel for this person. And the logic tells me, no, let's get to the logic of this. Like a man like you first came in there with diplomacy, right? Like I'm gonna speak and I'm gonna utilize my intellect to still navigate this room without being offensive, right? So we can actually have a progressive build. And then the people didn't take the intellect and the diplomacy of it because the other person didn't match it with the same level to where they was being masculine as well. So now they ask you to, no, I need you to double down on it. You understand me? Which is not going to get to a better soft because he's still not going to match it with a direct logic.
Because they can't.
Don't even, even if they wanted to, their feelings wouldn't allow them to.
So here's the thing. They have, this is when ego is bad. Their ego won't allow them to be like, yeah, bro, I don't really, let me get back to you, bro. I don't got it 100%. They can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Which is they can't do that because they've been positioning themselves to try to get these followers, get these, build up this culture, you know what I mean, to potentially sell.
And it's okay
whatever.
to be wrong. It's okay to not know. It's so much shit I don't know.
Listen.
I don't even know if I want to know everything. Like, I'm cool on that. Like,
yeah, man.
You got to be happy with your academic level. Like, you got to, if a person wants to really gauge themselves as a thought leader, they got to look at what are their areas of expertise, right? And what are their areas of industry that they're actually been in. And make a list of those things and then grade yourself about, create a metric on what you actually know about these things. And you can do that from what you've learned about them, what you applied from it, and what you've been good at in those areas. But we don't think about like really mapping ourselves out. We just throw a whole ego at it and be like, no, I'm here, I'm in this space.
And see, unfortunately, we live in a world to where ego, bravado, and I hate to say this. I was watching a documentary last night called Dirty Money. You seen it on Netflix?
I did.
All right, so there's this one.
That's the one about capitalism, right?
It's about a lot. It's like it's each episode is something different. They got Wells Fargo Bank.
Okay.
They got Trump in it, but the Trump part was interesting, right? Because they was calling him a con man, right? But they said con man came from confidence man.
Right, confidence.
I'm like, damn, I like the word confidence, right? But I get it. I see it. A lot of people, they project. Think about it, bro. When somebody stand up confidently and like say X, Y, Z and this bullshit. We were just talking earlier how people, some people just want to be led, right? They're not gonna question anything. Even when I'm giving information on one of my products or whatever, you know, people are not really always asking me deeper questions.
Right.
But I'm still gonna provide them with all the information because that's me.
Right.
That I don't get caught out there like that because I'm not gonna stand on something I don't know.
Right. Same
You know what I'm saying? So I'm never worried about that. So people are so used to doing that when I come into these rooms, and I'm not like the bullshit police, you know what I'm saying? But listen, if I'm here, let's talk. Like I was in one room one time and they were talking about influencers being bullshit, and I'm like, I said, you know, I'm just here to observe, you know what I'm saying? I come with love. Like my message of love is not to judge anybody, but this sounds like that you guys are hating on people that's figured it out and are gaining followers. I said, you identify these Fugazi influencers, now what?
Right.
Now what? What are you gonna do with that information?
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all just hate, like, you know, I said it in a very nice way. This is like, it sounds like you're hating on people who's figuring it out because you're all trying to do the same thing. Right? We all trying to get more.
And then it goes to a mindset thing, right? There are people who are skeptical of success stories and skeptical of success.
They feel like it's
everything
impossible.
is a scam.
Yeah.
Right? And those are the same people that are afraid of commitment. You understand me? When they hear something that's going to take a long term, then they know that they're not going to commit to something that's long term, so they don't believe in it.
Right.
Or they always jump into one thing to another, so they can't believe in your success.
Right.
Because they can't believe somebody committed themselves to a process.
Right.
So me, I don't spend time being skeptical of other people. Like, number one, I run off results anyway. Like, you got to be able to trust your own experience to know when somebody bullshit. If you have experience in that field or experience in life, then you know how you have the ability to ask the right questions.
Correct.
Right? To be able to filter people.
Correct.
So, yeah, they may be bullshit. Or you may be bullshitting yourself.
Right.
Because you don't want to do your due diligence or get to that. It's like if somebody said they're a boxer. You know the right questions to ask them or watch them do their training.
I just look on BoxRec.
Yeah.
You go on one site, yeah.
They could say, hey, man, I'm 100 and 0. And you be like, all right, but I'm just going to check and see it prove. I'm not going to spend no emotions and energy on it. And I'm definitely not going to make a clubhouse on how this bro was lying.
Bro, thank you. That's another thing. It's like, first of all, I don't care what these people. That's what I said. I said, just do you. Just do your thing. You ain't worried about them people.
Right.
You know
and then, you know, another thing is that those same people that make those rooms, and it's just generally for anybody, that talk about people who scam or what they skeptical of, they never do an opposite room of the people that they believe in and who are real and that actually have real success. Correct. And it's the same type of people that will follow you for years, and the only time they comment is when they disagree. Correct. So those people I write off instantly because you're only doing things when you're triggered and when you're negative about something. Right. You never do it to uplift something. Right. You understand me? So it's like, in the BWO, for example, when we first started, there was a whole room talking about, I think, our prices or something of that nature that we were scamming. And then now on the clubhouse, you got whole rooms of our students talking about how they love the BWO. Right. And those same people jumped into the BWO, made thousands, but they never go come back and make a room on and correct their errors. Right. Of course, I went in the room and had to smash on shit because it's like, number one, it's good publicity. Right. You just bringing more eyes and audience so they can hear the real results.
That's real.
And in no mind, because we got the real metrics.
And to hear you intellectually disassemble their little ideology.
Because I'm not worth you jumping into my program and what I built if I can't explain it against the doubters. Correct. Because all y'all represent is that mindset that most people around America have. which is the skepticism towards the things that's good for them.
Right.
You understand
Right.
me? And I told people the other day, you should be more skeptical about your drinking habits, your smoking habits, your escapism habits, the things that are bad for you, than you are skeptical about the things that's possibly good for you.
Right.
Because we got a reverse mentality and it keeps us poor because, number one, when something is a liability, we don't think about it because we know it's not gonna give us nothing in return.
Right.
The moment you tell me about education, I gotta think about that a little more. I need to investigate. I need to
Right.
see credentials.
Right.
So you stop yourself from taking more opportunities, but then you will pay for things that have nothing to do with your advancement.
People won't invest in themselves in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, do you have one thing you want to leave with us? Or I'm like, yeah. It's very profound, but very simple. And you heard it before. Life is what you make it.
That's a fact.
When you really, when that resonates, life is easy.
Yeah.
It's what you make it.
Yeah.
It literally is.
And the secret to life for me is work. That's the equation of life. You understand me? Like any problem that you presented with, if you put energy into that solution towards that problem, it will get better.
Correct.
You understand me?
Right.
And if you go look at your life and look at the areas you're not putting work into and energy
Right.
into,
Right.
that's why it's staying that way. And then you can double down and say, well, you could be working the opposite of the result you want. You can
Right.
work yourself into poverty.
Right.
It took work, because work is the exertion and energy to go spend your money on things
Correct.
that weren't building you wealth.
Right.
So it's like you got to look at where the direction of your work is,
Right.
and then just revert that into something that's actually productive.
Right. That's real, bro. Bro, we could do this all day.
Yeah.
But it's time for us to build not just
Yeah.
this, but this
Yeah,
too.
get some work in.
It's a total thing. You know what I'm saying? So let's go get it in real quick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Bless.